Hi everyone, for today's video I do have finally a Morphe 2 review. I wasn't able to get the Morphe 2 products directly from the Morphe website because they had sold out of a couple things that I wanted, specifically the blushes. They sold out of the blushes super quick, so I was just like, I'll wait for the restock, no worries. But then some of you guys had reached out to me and told me that it was going to be sold at Ulta. But I am pretty excited about this line. I think that it is really cute. I'll be looking forward to seeing how it possibly expands. I would love to see a more natural looking concealer and maybe some cute brow products and maybe a little bit more variety of lip options and maybe even natural looking bronzers I think would be amazing. Before we dive into my review, I am going to link down below a review that I watched of Morphe 2 that I really loved. The review was done by a Canadian content creator. Her name is Nihel, and literally her review was so good. It was so nice to watch. She did like a voiceover and she really went in depth of each and every product, talking about whether it was worth the price and whether it lived up to its claims. It was such a good review. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I am going to leave her review down below if you want to check out another perspective on the Morphe 2 line. So this is what my skin looks like before I go in with the Morphe 2 Hint Skin Tint. I did get the shade Hint of Walnut. Hint of Walnut is described as a medium with neutral golden undertones. I am going to apply a drop, one to both cheeks, my nose, a little bit on my chin, and that should be good to start with. I prefer always with like any foundation product really, unless the foundation is like super duper full coverage, I do just prefer to go in with a brush. I find that with a brush I'm able to get the most even amount of coverage, and especially from a skin tint or like a tinted moisturizer or something, I'm able to get the most coverage out of a product when I'm using a brush. If a foundation is ever like too much coverage, I will definitely use a sponge, but just my preference of always using a brush. I do think that the Hint of Walnut shade is a pretty decent shade for me. I do feel like it is maybe a hint too dark, or maybe it has like a little bit too much warmth in it. I'm almost wondering if the Hint of Almond shade, which is described as a medium with neutral undertones, I almost wonder if that would maybe match me a little bit more perfectly. But there are 20 shades in the shade range, which I don't think is too bad considering this is a very sheer product. So this is what the skin tint looks like when it is just one layer of it. I am going to go in and show you guys how this product builds up. For those of you who don't know, I do have pretty oily skin. I would maybe say I have oily to normal skin. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but the skin tint also is $17, which I kind of feel like for Morphe, that is a little bit expensive. I kind of think that if they had priced the skin tint at maybe around $14, that would have been pretty fair for the brand and the product. But as you can see, it does look really nice, healthy, dewy on the skin. It has a pretty decent amount of coverage. It did a really good job evening out my skin tone, and I also had like a couple of blemishes, and it did a pretty good job covering that up, especially with that second layer. I am just going to go in with a little bit of concealer on the areas that I need a little bit of extra coverage. For anyone that is watching this video that does have oily skin, I really recommend that if you are going to pick up this product, to maybe wear a mattifying primer underneath of it, or even just go with a really super lightweight moisturizer underneath. There was one day that I decided to wear a face oil underneath of the Morphe 2 skin tint, and it was just way too oily for me. I do feel like the skin tint has a little bit more of like an oily texture. Not that that is bad, I quite like that about the product, but that just kind of shows me that I probably don't need to put a ton of moisture on my skin underneath of it. So I've applied my eyebrows. I was going to use a Morphe brow product to fill my brows to kind of do like a full face of Morphe, but I don't really like their brow pencil. It's like a little bit too soft, so I just went ahead and used my new favorite brow product, which is the Lime Crime Bushy Brow Precision Pen in the shade Brownie. So the next item in the new Morphe 2 line are their Jelly Eye Shimmers, and I think that these are pretty cute. I know that there are mixed reviews on these. The two shades that I got are Bolt and Sunshine. I'll go ahead and swatch both of them for you. I wasn't really too sure about this product when I initially got it because there was like no pigmentation coming from these little pots, but I noticed that when you go in and like break the top layer seal, like you'll see that there's like kind of like a dent in my eyeshadows. You will definitely get way more pigment when you sort of break that seal. And along with breaking the seal and getting more pigment, you also get a smoother application. So these are pretty cute. They're not anything like super duper special. I also will be curious to see how they wear on the eyelids. I have worn these a few times, specifically the Sunshine shade. I've worn this a few times, but the times that I've worn it, I haven't been like keeping note of how long they've been lasting. I haven't noticed anything like atrocious about them, but I just haven't been paying attention, I guess. I have not worn Bolt. I'm a little, you know, afraid of it. It's just color. But I think for the sake of today's video, I should apply it just to see what it looks like at least. And you know, there's always some person that wants to see the color, the colorful option. Oh, this is kind of nothingness. It's cute. I wasn't expecting that to be so sheer though. I think this would look really cute if someone was maybe doing like a really dramatic smoked out black liner and then they just had this all over the lid. I think that would be kind of cool. I guess this is kind of nice for someone who's like intimidated by color in a way. And I kind of like the sheer black coloring that I'm getting. And then obviously like the duochrome sparkles. I think that this could be like a pretty cool eye, but I don't know. I do prefer the way that Sunshine looks on my eyelids, so I am going to layer Sunshine on over top. I feel like these colors can go well together anyway because the sparkle duochrome in both of them is the same, and I think the base color is just different. Like Sunshine is like a little bit more peachy, and Bolt has that like black base, that sheer black base. This is a cute combo of colors though. I quite like this. I should have had you guys up closer for the eyes, but that is what the eyeshadows look like on my eyelids. These single eyeshadows are $10. I don't think that that is too expensive. I do feel like maybe they could have gotten away with like doing $8 and it would have been like a little bit more realistic, I guess. There's nothing on this brush except for like leftover matte eyeshadow from whatever time I used it last. I'm just kind of going in the crease and cleaning that up a little bit. I think that these are cute. I like that they layer well. I think that that is a nice aspect of them. And I also love like a glittery sheer shadow topper just to like wear over top of shadow or by itself. I think it is a cute way to wear glitter, and I think that this kind of gives me that vibe. It's just a cute way to wear a little bit of sparkle. So moving on to my cheeks, I have two of the Morphe Wonder Tint cheek and lip mousses. I have the shade Amaze, which is probably what I'm going to be wearing today. I really like how this shade looks on my skin. And then I also have the shade Dream, which also looks very cute on my skin. I think that they did a pretty good job with these. I was a little bit worried about the moussey texture. I was afraid that it was going to be a little bit hard to blend out on my skin, be a little bit more drying, but I think that they did a really good job with the mousse texture. These are pretty pigmented, they're really soft, they're creamy, they're really nice and blendable. I really like applying these with a brush. So that is what Dream looks like, and that is what Amaze looks like. I think that these are a really, really awesome cream cheek option for those of you with texture or very oily skin. I have found that these cheek products last a really, really long time on the skin, and because of their mousse formula, they almost have a blurring effect on the cheeks, which looks really nice over texture. It doesn't accentuate any texture on your cheeks, and for me, I do get a lot of oil on my cheeks, like a lot of oil production, and these cheek products kind of help balance that out. So I really, really like them. Because this line doesn't have a bronzer and I just feel like I need it, like I just need a little bit of something, I'm just going to add a little bit of bronzer. Okay, so I'm going in with a little bit of Amaze. I'm just applying it with a brush. I have not applied it with my fingers yet. I just don't really like applying makeup with my fingers. Like, I was kind of surprised that I didn't apply my eyeshadow with a brush, but yeah, as you can see, it blends onto the cheek really nicely, no fussing. It looks really nice and pigmented on the skin. Like, I'm kind of glad these aren't super duper sheer so that it will show up on deeper skin tones. I'm going to sit here and build up the color because I do like a good bit of cheek color. And hopefully you are able to tell the blurring effect a little bit that these cheek products give, considering they are like a more of a mousse texture and they are matte, but I still think it gives like a healthy glow. I have not used these on the lips yet, so I want to try. They feel really weird on the lips, almost like a blotted lipstick. Applying over top just a little bit of Dream. That's pretty cute. I don't think I like it on my lips though. I feel like it does kind of accentuate my lines and just like dryness. The Wander Tint cheek and lip mousses are $12, by the way, which I don't think is super unreasonable. I think that actually is a pretty fair price for these cheek products. So I did not pick up their clear gloss highlighter sort of thing. I just didn't really feel I would ever use that product. I already have a product very similar to it by Milk Cosmetics, and I've probably used it twice and I've owned it for several years. So I didn't want to waste my money picking up something that I definitely know I wouldn't use. But I did get one of their glassified lip oils. I don't love lip oils. I just would rather put on a gloss, or I would rather put on a lip balm. I don't like a lip oil. I just don't know the purpose of them. I've never tried a lip oil that I really like, and if I do like a lip oil, it's because it's named lip oil, but it actually is more like a gloss. I just don't really get the purpose of a lip oil. They're not long wearing at all. I don't even find them to be that hydrating. They just kind of sit on your lips and don't do anything. This though is in the shade Shiny Dancer. I felt like this shade would be the most flattering on my skin tone and be able to actually possibly show up. It's pretty much clear. I think you could probably get any color and it would show up clear. So that is what Shiny Dancer looks like. I think it's cute. I do like that it looks super glossy on my lips. However, I know that like in just a few minutes of speaking, or like as soon as I put a drink to my lips, the product is gonna be gone. I just would much rather have a lip gloss than a lip oil. So I did want you guys to be able to take a good close-up look at my skin. This is what everything is looking like after I have applied all of the Morphe 2 products that I own. I think everything looks pretty good. This is pretty much what I would want my skin to look like, so I don't have anything really negative to say about the skin tint or the cheek products. I know I'm going to be changing up this lip here soon. Also, the scent of the lip oil is very subtle coconut, and I just don't like coconut scented things all that much. So yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of the lip oil, but that's probably just my personal preference. I'm excited to keep note of how the jelly eyeshadows last on my eyelids. I haven't noticed anything since like wearing them before. I haven't noticed anything like gross or like crazy from them not performing the way that they should, but I'm curious to see how much like actual wear I can get out of the product. But yeah, this is what my skin looks like at 1 p.m. I am going to be running some errands with my mom, so I am going to have like an actual wear test, so we'll see how this makeup holds up. I'm pretty confident that it will do a pretty decent job. I've been playing around with these products a few times and I've been really liking them. I will be wearing a mask though, obviously. I will have a mask on, so I do know already that some of my product like around my nose and mouth area and probably even my cheeks might wear off, which we'll kind of see how that goes later on. But that is something that I'm already expecting. There is no product on this earth that will last through mask wearing, and that just is what it is. I will see you guys in a few hours for a check-in on how the Morphe 2 line is holding up on my oily to normal skin. Hi guys, I am back for my checkup. The time now is like 8:40, so it's been almost 9 hours. I guess it's been probably about 9 hours since I've had all the face makeup on because it took me a long time to film today. I was filming for a long time, I felt like. So yeah, this is what my skin is looking like. Honestly, I think I look pretty good considering, one, it was stupid hot outside today, as always, as it's been in North Carolina. It's just been so hot. And then I also did have my mask on, obviously. I don't know, I feel like it's looking pretty good. The only sort of touch-up I've done today is I do get little streaks on my cheeks from wearing my mask. So I just went in with my little blush brush and kind of placed the product back into place, but then that was it. That's all I did in terms of a touch-up. Honestly, I feel like, considering it's been several hours, like 9 hours, my cheeks are pretty vibrant. I do feel like the color faded a little bit, but not anything that I'm like upset about. I feel like the actual foundation looks really good. I'm not super oily, like I'm not any more oily than I usually would be. Obviously, like my forehead's pretty shiny and then on my cheeks is pretty shiny, but I think everything looks really good. And then as far as my eyes, let me see. I don't really see any creasing. I think that this looks pretty good. This is what my skin looks like close up, by the way. So yeah, honestly, you guys, I give Morphe 2 a big thumbs up. I will definitely continue using the cheek products especially. I really like the skin tint. I think it worked pretty well. Probably not going to be something I use in the winter time. Definitely more of a summertime product for me just because of the shade. Definitely going to continue using this cute shadow. I really like the sunshine shade, but yeah, definitely going to continue using that. The lip oil, which I was right, it definitely came off like as soon as I went downstairs to eat a Chobani flip cup. It was gone. And yeah, I just don't really like lip oils in general, so don't recommend it, don't love it, unless you're like really into lip oils, I guess, then yeah, go for it. But other than that, I'm really excited about this line. I think it performs really well. I'm really happy with how this makeup wore throughout the day, considering, one, it's super hot outside, two, I've had this makeup on for quite some time, like 9 hours is a pretty full day, and three, I was wearing a mask and it still looks pretty good. The only thing I had to do was like touch up my cheeks a little bit, but that was it. I think that this makeup held up really well and I definitely really like it. So let me know what you guys think about the Morphe 2 line in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd also love to know if you guys ended up picking anything up, because I know that the collection did sell out, but I also know that people had like mixed reviews or mixed thoughts on the line. So I'm just curious to know what you guys thought of the Morphe 2 collection. But that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I see you next time.